So let's talk about developing the witness of the mind, the ability to witness thoughts as they come and go. So before this, we are very much identified with thoughts. We become entangled with the thoughts, and wherever the thoughts are pushing us, shoving us, dragging us, we seem to be going with those thoughts. And this is very much in the lower consciousness. So we become that negative thinking. And we get so trapped in the mind. There's this feeling like, I am the mind. I am my thoughts. I am stuck in the mind. So this is where it's a huge milestone, you could say, on the spiritual journey, where there's this opening. There's this opening, and there's some distance created from what you are and the thoughts. Because if you are aware of thoughts that come and go, well, what is aware of that? That which is aware of the thoughts coming and going must be beyond the thoughts, because they are witnessing. Because you are witnessing the thoughts coming and going. Therefore, you must be beyond those thoughts. You must be prior to the thoughts. So like I said, this is a great milestone. This creates some distance, and with that distance is the feeling of a little bit more freedom. You're getting a taste of that freedom. Now, at the start, there's definitely not pure witnessing where you can witness all the time. You'll find like there's this kind of phases or periods of time where you are witnessing and you're now experiencing the peace, the freedom, the lightness. You'll start experiencing that, but then there's also, you kind of get dragged back in, stuck, identified with the thoughts in the mind and getting trapped. And then you'll have the, I'm able to witness. And this will go back and forth over a period of time until you basically develop more and more of that witness, abide more and more as the witness, remain more and more as the witness. There needs to be a little bit more of that maturing, it appears. In reality, you're always that witness, but it's when the consciousness is getting contracted and identified with the thoughts. So it's very much, maybe I'll break it into two videos, more of like let's leave this one as like a opening up to the witness. So as we open up to the witness, like I said, there's more freedom. There's a little bit more peace. There's more lightness. There's that distance, that space. So we have this feeling of this spaciousness because we are now witnessing the thoughts appear and disappear in that space that we are. There's a distance, a separation between my thoughts and what I am. There's that distance, and with that distance, there's more freedom from the mind, freedom from the thoughts. Not getting so sucked in. So in that early stage of developing the witness, it's just being aware of when we get trapped in the mind or identified as the thought or stuck. As soon as we become aware, how are we aware? How are you aware? When you are aware of it, that which is aware is beyond that. So then there's a coming back, right? That contraction. is no more, and it starts expanding to then spaciousness. So the practice really is just being aware. Once you start having those times where they might be maybe just a few moments of the witnessing, but then that turns into a couple minutes, and then it turns into a couple more minutes, right? With myself, it turned into these long periods of time where it became very, very obvious that I am not the thoughts. And at that time, the thoughts are actually no problem, because they're only a problem when you get identified with them. Just like it's only a problem when you're involved in a crime scene. The crime scene is not a problem to any witness. It's only a problem if you're the one committing the crime. So likewise, it's only a problem when we get identified as our thoughts. But as the witness, we're just witnessing it. We're witnessing it. So the practice is just simply becoming aware of when you could say, lose consciousness, per se, where you're not losing consciousness completely, but we become very more unconscious, more into the lower states, and see the practice is then becoming aware and then holding that presence, holding that awareness. And we'll kind of end it just on this note. You'll notice that there's certain identities, certain roles, certain triggers, certain topics in certain environments that you'll start to lose that consciousness. You'll start to create more of identity. You'll find this when you're very much trying to defend your position, when you're trying to be better than someone at something, certain people that there's karma with. You'll notice this with certain identities that you're trying to defend your identity, certain roles that you're in, that you'll lose that witnessing ability. You'll lose that presence. You'll lose that. You don't actually lose the presence, but it feels like that from this. I've got to talk on like the level of the separate self to make sense. You'll feel like you're losing the presence. You'll feel like I lost that awareness. I lost that consciousness. You are that consciousness. You can't lose it. But what happens is it's like it's forgetting itself and then being so immersed. Kind of like as if you're watching a movie. You're witnessing the movie, sitting back on the couch, eating popcorn. But as soon as you think that you're really in that movie and immersed, you jump, right? You get so into it, right? You're watching a horror movie or something like that. You jump. You get so immersed in it, right? But that's the thing is the movie of life is so immersive that it does the same thing. It pulls you in. And like I said, is you'll find that certain experiences, certain people, certain identities that you're clinging to and attaching to, certain roles that you're playing, that you'll be really identified with it. And it seems to really pull you in, suck you in. And then now you're kind of caught up in it, right? You're caught up in it. You're now in the storm, right? But it's that witnessing. It's the witnessing of the storm, which comes from the eye of the storm. And the eye of the storm is always still and silent. No matter how loud, noisy the storm is, no matter how fast and moving it is, the inside is silent and still. And that's where you start watching from. You're watching from that stillness that's here and now. You're watching from the silence that is here and now. In reality, that's actually what you are, is the stillness and the silence, right? But when we kind of per se, like lose ourselves and get lost in the activity of the mind, then we become that activity. We only know ourselves as that activity. But what knows that activity must be still. And that's actually your true self. Your true self is that stillness that's aware of the activity. It's aware of getting lost in the activity. It's aware of the racing mind. It's aware that you're losing attention, or your attention was misdirected, or sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What's aware that you weren't paying attention? Must be something beyond attention, that even attention is seen. So once you develop this witnessing, which is very much a witnessing, a seeing of these patterns of the mind, then there's much more peace and freedom. So as we open up to this witnessing, there's definitely more of that peace and lightness and freedom that's experienced, which is a tremendous milestone on your spiritual journey. So hopefully this helps. And if you're not quite there, there are some guided meditations that help open up to this witnessing state of consciousness. So I encourage you to check those out. This is very much that helps you open up to this new sense of peace and freedom and spaciousness. I'll see you in the next one.